I am a femdom who loves roleplay and mind trips. Here you will learn about 2 possible variations that I will soon describe in more detail elsewhere in a way that is not possible here. Subscribers to this new channel of mine will then find the links here. Now close your eyes and relax. Let my words penetrate your thoughts and ignite an agonizing longing within you. A longing that yearns for education and punishment. A longing that you may have tried to suppress for a long time, in vain. Imagine you work in a company where there is a boss, a very strict boss, namely me, Mistress Amyra, your femdom. I am a boss who does not think much of modern employee management. My subordinates could tell you a lot about it. I have my own ideas on how to deal with the lateness of unreasonable employees. For example, I have no ear for flimsy excuses like traffic jams or the like. I am sure you understand that a good boss cannot tolerate this. Perhaps the punishment will be a little lighter if you, aware of your guilt, present your ridiculous attempt at evasion, whimpering for forgiveness, on your knees to my heels. What this really helps, however, might depend on my mood of the day. In other words, if my shares are in the basement, you will follow them. On behalf of all the other employees in my company, you will learn absolute obedience and strict loyalty to your boss. Be sure of that. But maybe you're not ready to work yet. It could be that you still see the old benches of your school days in your mind. The daily misdemeanors, for example, not doing your homework, bad grades, or simply not showing enough respect to your teacher. And so that you do not become such a good-for-nothing later on, your teacher must of course take preventive measures. Yes, the good old cane. I think you understand what I mean by that. A good smack on the cheeks never hurt a rebellious pupil, and it will also help you to learn and obey. Imagine getting your deserved bill for your misbehavior in front of the whole class. And if that does not help, we will repeat the whole thing, but then in the schoolyard, as a very special kind of education. How do you feel about the thought of this happening? The thought of your classmates laughing and mocking as the redness gets darker and darker, and you will be counting. It must also be embarrassing for you to have to recite the alphabet with your face to the wall, and you'd better concentrate very carefully. Believe me, you should not make any mistakes, because if you do, I will start counting all over again, and so will you. We will repeat the whole thing until you do not make any more mistakes. Not in reciting the alphabet, and not in counting. I do not need a red pencil. I have this thin and wicked tool of my dominance. You will love and hate this tool in equal measure. I will make sure of it. Admittedly, these are only 2 very familiar facets of this broad spectrum of fantasy. Perhaps you yourself have already seen completely different films in your head cinema. Scenes of the expression of female superiority. A medieval ruler, with medieval views, punishing a servant. A sovereign like me, looking down from her elevated throne and at the bound servant who knelt trembling before her. Weakened and broken, you will lie before me afterwards. Adventurous, in dark worlds. Scene of the expression of the cruel power I exercise over my kingdom. Merciless in the punishments, always anxious to demonstrate my authority and the superiority of women. Feverish dreams, of the fulfillment of your desires, on the way to your destiny. Your destiny to serve me, to submit to my dominance in the most devoted way, and to do everything to be worthy in my eyes to be allowed to call you my property. You shall believe at the sound of my voice and the thought of feeling the education, whether physical or psychological, that you are in the scene of your dark fantasy. A fantasy you cannot escape even if you wanted to. All these are only a few mental snippets of fantasies of which you will become a part.